Hi, I'm Kelly of Craft and More blog and Creative Catalyst Productions. Today I'm going to show you how to do some mixed media Christmas crafts. Let's get started. Ornaments make great decorations for any season. These also make fantastic office gifts. Let's get started. Here's what you'll need. Glass ornaments. An adhesive. I'm using heavy-duty, clear strippable wall covering adhesive. Yes, it is for wallpaper and you'll find it at a Home Depot or a home supply store. Wrapping paper of your choice. And for this you will need to use wrapping paper. Cardstock and even some of the non-cardstock decorative papers are going to be too thick. So wrapping paper is your best bet. Papier glass finish. This is made by Plaid. Scissors, pliers, and some floral wire. For this ball you'll need about 16 strips. You'll need 4 at 4 1/4 by 3/4 inch, 4 at 4 inches by 3/4 inch, and 8 at 4 inches by 1/2 inch. I've put down a piece of newspaper because this can get a little messy. And before I start gluing strips down, I want to take this top off. I'm just going to carefully peel back the edges of the tops. You want to be really careful when you do this because sometimes when they make the ornaments, a piece of glass will break off or there'll be a sharp shard out. You don't want to cut yourself. You need to pull it off just enough to get it out of there. And now once it's out, push back all the little petals. Now you're going to set this aside. Another thing you want to do before you get started is to make sure you have a place for the ornament to dry. Your hands are going to be sticky and you don't want to be trying to find a place in your house to dry this ornament. You'll also want to create a hook. This is where I just take floral wire. I'm going to create a hook on one side and then literally just wrap with my hand the other one into a loop. Again, it doesn't have to be fancy, it just has to be strong enough to hold the ornament while it dries. And I have a bar that I'm looping it on, so I'm just going to put the bar through there and hang the ornament off of this. So now I'm going to take my first set of strips, and those are the widest and the longest. I'm going to dip it in, slide it along to get the excess off. You can already see it's curling up. And lay it down. You want it to come up a little bit on the neck of the ball. This is why we take that top out. For 2 reasons. One, so we can work up here, but also so we can stick our finger in that opening and create support. So there's one side. On to the next. Overlap the piece down there. Smooth it down as much as you can using your fingernail to shape it around the edge. And this is why it's important to use wrapping paper and not a thicker paper. Even office paper would be really difficult. If it's not sticking, simply dip your finger into the paste and just put a little down. And it's not going to stick perfectly in the beginning, and that's why you're going to have to continue to smooth it down. And the finished ball itself is not completely smooth. It gives it a texture that goes along really nicely with the paper. But it will be smoother than this. You have the first layer down, and now I'm going to move on to my second layer of strips. Now for these, you don't necessarily have to dip them into the glue. Just use your finger and put a line of glue. Just constantly smoothing out all around. And again, I work across, so opposite sides. It's a little bit of a tug-of-war because you don't really have a lot of places to put your hands. So it is a little bit of a fight. I want to make sure that it's in the center so I have equal distance on both sides. Final 2 pieces. Sort of what I like to do before I put the next piece on, I go around the entire ball and smooth the pieces that are already there down. Now your final strips, it's this final strip that covers up the final piece of glass that you want to be as smooth as you can make it. And if it's not perfectly smooth, that's okay. Remember, these are handmade, and that's part of what gives them their charm. This is the 1/2 inch. I don't feel like it's going to work quite as well. So I'm going to take one of my other pieces, use it That way it's sure to cover all the glass. You want to make sure that you cover all the glass. If you have just a tiny, tiny sliver sticking out, that's okay. It's a careful balance because you don't want so much glue on here that everything's going to be sliding around, but you also want it to get stuck down. Now that you have the entire ball covered in wrapping paper, you want to go around, kind of as it's drying, just smooth out the little pieces that are sticking up. Now that I have it smoothed down, I'm going to put the top back in. Slide it down in. Situated. Fold back down the petals. Now I'm going to loop it and go hang it someplace to dry. Once it's completely dry, I'd say let it dry overnight just to be safe. You're going to finish it off with a papier glass finish. You don't need a lot of this stuff, so I just start at the top and work my way down. You can really see what kind of shine it gives it. When you're done, check over it one more time to make sure you have all the spots, also so it's not super thick in any one area. All right, you're going to hang this up again to dry, let it dry for at least 3 hours, and you have your ornament. Thanks for crafting with me today. Go to ccpvideos.com and search Kelly Powers to find templates of the projects we did today and more tutorials. Thanks.